Okay. Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to PunkCon 3. Thank you so much. Welcome to 2024 PunkCon. Do they owe us a living? Punk, nihilism, and going analog in the end of times. This is our third PunkCon, but the second time that we gather in person. The first one, this is the first time we come to California State University Fullerton. We would like to thank our sponsors, the CSUF Junior Senior Intramural Grant, the Department of Chicanic Studies, ICII, the Institute of Black Intellectual Innovation at CSUF. We also want to thank all of our performers, volunteers, and bands past and present. If you volunteered for us or played before, show of hands. I know there's a member of tutors back there. They played 2019, so thank you, big hand. Thank you. And briefly, and we also want to thank the Ethnic Studies Office for all of their help. And then briefly, we want to introduce our core organizing committee. So I'm Dr. Marlén Ríos-Hernández, and I'm co-founder of PunkCon since 2019.
I'm also a co-founder. My name is Susana Sepulveda, aka Susy Riot, and also is Kimmy Luis.
Yeah. And if you want to say who you are in your role.
Oh. So I'm Kimby. I'm the one that's going to be recording a lot of this today. I've been the one posting on social media for the last few hours, so I've been extra annoying lately. And I took charge of some of the social media stuff, the stuff that you saw online, the video introducing Chicago Powers. And I'm excited to have you all here.
Thank you, Kimby.
My name's Adri. I did my master's here and I graduated last summer, so I'm back just to help with PunkCon. And I was in charge of getting all the vendors organized out there. There's a lot of really cool people vending today. Go support them. They're all awesome. So that was my role.
Thank you.
And then hi, I'm Marlén Ríos-Hernández. I'm a graduating student of Cal State Fullerton, and I'm a volunteer lead. So if you need any questions, look for our volunteers. They have an orange little label here.
Thank you.
Of course, Susy.
Hi, I'm Susy Riot. I am moderator for the Plenary, and also I was the talent coordinator as well. This is a situation. There we go. I'm also talent coordinator for PunkCon this year.
Thank you, Joe. So we'd like to start with CSUF's land acknowledgement. Firstly, we'd like to collectively acknowledge that Cal State Fullerton is located on traditional, ancestral, and contemporary lands of Indigenous people. Before this land was colonized, it was cared for and called home by Tongva and Ahashiman peoples. We recognize that this land holds great historical, spiritual, and personal significance for its original inhabitants. To ensure that we are truly catalyzing change rooted in social justice principle, Cal State Fullerton recognizes and continually supports and advocates for the sovereignty of the Native nations of this territory and beyond. By offering this land acknowledgement, we affirm tribal sovereignty and our commitment to tribes that historically called this land home. PunkCon would also like to express our support and solidarity with all movements currently mobilizing at this time in the name of liberation for oppressed people. We express our unwavering support for Palestinian liberation and demand a permanent ceasefire now.
And with that, this year's theme is focused on the ways, so this year's theme, again, do they owe us a living? Punk, nihilism, and going analog in the end of times, which is more relevant than ever. This year's theme is focused on the ways that punks are reclaiming their time, energy, and agency in the face of late-stage capitalism and neoliberalism. We celebrate the resilience of punk in what seems like the end of times. During an especially difficult and uncertain political climate, the critique of capitalism necessitates punk communities to rethink the analog as a means of survival. Analog, as we see it, is broader than separation from the digital, and its current of punk social justice and activists that thrives despite the looming feeling of uncertainty in apocalyptic times. What we see as a time when the political climate feels increasingly dangerous and urgent for people living in the margins. when the survival of the planet and its inhabitants is threatened by the modes of production that control and structure our livelihoods, and when the world as we know it is breaking. For over 40 years, punk has struck a chord with generations of disillusioned youth and marginalized communities who refuse to be silenced. Punk survival is not based on the mainstream commercial success it has gained over the years, but rather the mantra of do-it-yourself, the idea that promotes self-determination and agency of an individual and a community of individuals outside of capitalism and the institutions that uphold it. The analog is a significant part of punk DIY ethos and how punk has sustained itself all these years, despite the ephemerality of cultural productions. Punk's current return to the analog after years, after its ascent to the digital world in the 2000s, we see tells us something about what it means to for punk to survive. We see punks looking to the past as a method and as a practice of salvaging to sustain a cultural and political movement that is otherwise dead and displayed on storefronts or capital-driven museums. Our guest panelists, presenters, and performers throughout the conference will offer insights into how punk continues to represent resilience and ways to challenge dominant modes of production, especially for marginalized queer and people of color. Topics that will be discussed include the ongoing production of punk zines, Black Punk Now, shout out contemporary underground record labels and bands, punk journalism, drag performances, as well as teaching practices, amongst others. And this year's PunkCon Plenary will feature and honor musician Kid Congo Powers, activist, multimedia artist, and cultural critic Exy Betts, musician, activist, and model Brian Scott Adams, and our moderator, PunkCon organizer Josie Riot. Well, first for some logistics for navigating PunkCon this year. This is our first time being back in person, so just a few logistics in terms of navigating today's agenda.
And we'll keep these brief. So we have 4 different rooms throughout the humanities building, which is what we are in now, designated for panels, presentations, and workshops, including the room we are in, H123. So this is also one plenary room we'll be using throughout the day. Other rooms are H322, which is on the 3rd floor, H326B, which is also on the 3rd floor, located in this building. And then we have one more room on the 4th floor, H426, which is also on the same building. Elevators are located in the front part of the building where you saw registration, but also in the rear, and there is also a stairwell in the rear as well. Bathrooms are located on each floor of the building. They're all binary restrooms. The only gender neutral